Williams. We're here in Las Vegas, known for its fabulous nightlife, beautiful casinos, and extravagant hotels. You can find all that and more here at the Plaza Hotel Casino, where you can party and gamble in style. It's also where America's #1 televised poker competition is taking place. So welcome to the Ultimate Poker Challenge.
Just had to do it with smoke and mirrors.
It's the hottest game place anywhere.
Chips are going back and forth a lot.
And everyone is doing it.
Well, it's a pretty big favorite after the flop.
The excitement, the players, the money. Whew. The game is Texas Hold'em. From the poker capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, it's the Plaza Ultimate Poker Challenge.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Chad Brown. We're now in round 18 as the anticipation keeps building and building as we get closer to the semifinals. People from all over the world are flying into the Plaza to try to lock up a seat in the semifinals. My co-host this week, he's one of the most recognizable personalities in No Limit Texas Hold'em. Let's say hello to Amir Vahedi. Hi, Amir.
Well, hi, Chad. Glad to be here. This great tournament, and congratulations to continued success with the tournament. Let's talk about this last week. The hand took place. Actually, that was the final hand. That was between Chris and Avi. Avi was short stack. Decided to take stand with the 8-7 offsuit.
Calling.
I call.
8-7 versus
Against, unfortunately, ace-8.
ace-8 for Chris. Avi looks like he's in trouble here. Flop is an 8.
After a flop, his drawing is very slim.
Comes a turn card.
Turned it in half.
It's a queen.
And
Turn
Chris
is over.
advanced to
Avi
semifinals.
Freeman's finished second.
Well, the game is No Limit Texas Hold'em, and the goal is the championship.
So let's get started. Matt Savage is here to introduce 7 finalists from this week's competition.
In seat number 1, 14,825 in chips, Brooklyn Dan Pugliese. In seat number 2, from Costa Mesa, California, 7175, Mr. Rich Lister. In seat number 4, from Las Vegas, Nevada, 15,050 in chips, Scott Epstein. In seat number 5, from Walnut Creek, California, 6250, Howard Tahoe Andrew. In seat 6, from Las Vegas, 4675 in chips, Kenny Robbins. In seat number 7, 18275, from Plattsburgh, New York, Nick the Kid Bouyea. And our chip leader from right here in Las Vegas, 21,075 in chips, Miami John Cernuto.
Well, we are underway here at the final table of the Ultimate Poker Challenge, and there's a lot of familiar faces here, Amir. I know guys you play with, Miami John, our chip leader.
I tell you what, I love to be in his shoes. With the amount of chips he's got in front of him and the experience that he's got, I don't see why he wouldn't finish. And look at him. He's so focused. I mean, I can see him. He's checking everybody and saying, what are they doing?
Now, Kenny goes all in. He's short stack. He's got a king, jack. It's a pretty good hand, king, jack of diamonds. And it's on Nick the Kid. Nick the Kid's got 8-9 offsuit. And he's got a decision to make here because he knows Kenny might just be pushing all in with anything and anything. He's thinking about the price he's getting, and he's about a 2-to-1 dog, Amir.
Well, knowing the short stack, sometimes they take some action out of desperation. I mean, they're desperate. They don't necessarily have to have a big hand. So I think it's a safe call. I mean,
the flop is 2-8.
2-8 gives Nick the Kid 3-8, and
we have to come runner here.
Oh, well.
Kenny doesn't get a runner. He's going to be our first player knocked out at the final table.
It's a jack on the turn.
Jack on the turn. He's still got a shot, Amir.
Oh, hey, there's no impossible in poker.
And he's got his cheering section. Here he goes. The river, and it's an ace, and that's going to be it. Kenny's going to be knocked out in 7th place, and what can I say? Nick the Kid, he might do it again. Well, we are down to our final 6 players, and Amir, things are really getting heated here at the final table. Nick the Kid. This kid's already won a tournament already, Amir, and he's the new young gun around. Brooklyn Dan, he's got a king jack offsuit, and he's going to raise it up.
Oh boy, what a good rate! I mean, you don't know what he's going to get.
Brooklyn Dan, he's making it 2,200.
And it's going to be on Rich. Rich was at the final table already a couple of shows ago. And it's on Tahoe. And you know Tahoe, right, Amir? Look at this. Ace King for Tahoe. And this guy is a solid player.
I don't know how many years he's been playing, but I remember since I started playing poker, he's been around. So this guy is something else.
And he's pushing it all in with the Ace King. It's a good play on his part.
Oh, he's the only player with that many chips.
Right, because he is short stacked and he is pot committed.
You're going in, you want to see all 5 cards. If anybody calls you, you don't want to be really bad.
And Dan.
And Brooklyn calls.
Dan called, and Dan's going to be about a 3-to-1 dog.
He's up against King Jack for Brooklyn Danny.
Dan's going to need a jack to win this.
He's the all-in player.
I think this is my 5th final table. I'm starting to feel a lot more comfortable now. In the beginning, I wasn't comfortable. I'm up against Nick, the kid they call him, Nick Bouyea. I think he's made 5 final tables. Fantastic young player. Separate contrast to him, we have Tahoe, probably one of the best players around. He might be short stacked today, but I don't think it matters. He's dangerous with a little chips or a lot of chips. He seems to have the ability to have a read quickly. Very intimidating. I'm learning just how good they are, but I'm also learning that I'm able to compete. I've never played head up, but hopefully that's going to happen today.
And let's see the flop.
Here comes the flop. The flop.
Flop is good for Tahoe.
Yeah, so far so good.
2 cards left to come.
Dan's wishing for a jack.
Turn is a 4.
It's a 4, and Tahoe's going to double up if a jack doesn't come on the river.
It's an ace.
And it's an ace. Tahoe's going to double up here, and this guy's a tough competitor, and if he gets chips, anything could happen to him.
You know, I like to see Tahoe with a little bit more chips because he's capable of playing with all those other guys as well as they do, but he just don't have enough chips.
The Ultimate Poker Challenge is just getting started. When we come back, I'll tell you what the hand rankings are in No Limit Texas Hold'em. Welcome back. In Texas Hold'em, the highest ranking hand wins.
A royal flush is the best hand you can get. And it beats a second-in-command straight flush, which beats 4 of a kind, which is better than a 4th place full house. Though a full house beats a flush, and a flush beats a straight, if you're holding a straight, it beats 3 of a kind. However, 3 of a kind is better than having 2 pair, and 2 pair beats 1 pair, and 1 pair, well, it's better than nothing.
And now you know. Now back to Chad and Amir.
Amir, you know, besides playing poker and winning tournaments, I understand you also coach some people.
Yeah, actually I did. I didn't know how would that work, but I was actually birthday presents for Ben Affleck by J-Lo.
You were the birthday present for Ben Affleck?
Yeah, actually they took me there to work on his game, and we did a quarter. In fact, I took him to the first ever tournament that he played in a Legend Poker and Bicycle. And so from then on, he loved the poker tournament. And
well, all I know is Ben Affleck won the Commerce Poker Tournament, and if that's a reflection on your coaching, I want some coaching.
That's called a student becoming a teacher, because on that tournament I finished 9th, so he actually bypassed me.
Well, here's the action, and Nick the Kid is in against Tahoe, and Tahoe has a pair of queens, and Nick the Kid has an open-end straight.
First puts out the 16th. He's checking it all in.
Tahoe's going all in with top pair queens. This is a great play by Tahoe.
That's how you operate the small chips. So you're going after building up. So.
Well, he's putting a big decision on Nick the Kid. Nick the Kid right now is about a 2-to-1 dog, and the only way he can call is if he feels he's getting the right pot price.
We're going to see these hands.
65. Count that.
On your backs, boys.
All right, let's see them. Tahoe has
pair of queens.
Queen Jack. He's got the top pair with a jack keeper. He's up against an open-ended straight. 5-4 for Nick the Kid.
Like I said, Nick the Kid's about a 2-to-1 dog. Nick is going to be looking for a deuce or a 7 to knock Tahoe out of the tournament.
Or a 7 to make a straight. And it's a 9 on the turn.
It's a 9. Tahoe's still in good
So
shape.
far, Tahoe's good, running good.
Well, if a deuce or a 7 doesn't come on the river, Tahoe's going to double up once again, and it's a 10. And Tahoe has now accumulated a huge amount of chips. And Amir, I think you got your wish.
Well, I don't wish anybody bad luck, but I just want to see him at the table with his experience. It's good for poker.
Well, as the action continues, Rich is going to be under the gun, and he's really short stacked. He's going to be having to get a hand here or in the big blind, Amir.
I would say if you find anything bigger than queen, you should shove those chips in. You can't wait any longer or until you get blind out.
Right, right. Yeah, it's on you. Well, he's got an ace.
Don't look at second one. There you go.
That's it. That's the best you can hope for when you get short stacked. Tahoe's got a 10 of spades and a 4 of spades, and he's going to lay it down. It's on Nick the Kid. Nick the Kid, 3-4 offsuit.
You're the whole audience.
That's not enough.
No.
And he's going to be all up.
And Dan's already got him covered in the big blind, so Dan has to see a flop. And Brooklyn Dan's got ace-jack.
That's what we call no-look poker for Dan. You're already in there.
And Rich with an ace-6 is 72% to 28% underdog. Rich is going to need a 6.
The flop is.
Wow, that's.
Well, this is not bad because it does give Rich a gut shot straight here.
If I had an A6, I would have wished for that flop. It gives him an extra knot.
7 on the turn.
Well, now a 7 on the turn, now 4 or 6, and Rich is going to win, or a pair of the board, and they'll split the pot. Otherwise, Rich will be knocked out. And it's a 7, and that's going to do it. And Rich is going to be knocked out in 6th place, and Brooklyn Dan's going to pick up a $3,600 pot here.
Yeah, unfortunately, it didn't work today for Rich. But I'll tell you, Chad, you would love to play with this man. This guy plays poker for fun, and he always have fun at the table.
It didn't matter whether the second card was a deuce or it was a king. Once I saw the ace, I didn't bother looking at the second card. I just pushed my money in. That's the way it goes. I just went dry once I got to the final table. I got a lot of points, so I should be in the semifinals, so that's where the real big money is. Maybe I'll get hot there.
Well, we are down to 5 players. The blinds are going up to 6 and 1,200 with a $200 ante. And action's going to be on Miami John. He's going to muck it.
This has been kind of quiet.
He has been kind of quiet.
He's waiting for the chance.
And Scott's got a king, queen of spades, and he raises it up to 3,600.
Not a bad raising hand in that position.
Not at all. 5-handed king, queen of spades, pretty good hand. And the action's on Nick the Kid. And Nick the Kid is calling with pocket 3s. What do you think about that, Amir?
Well, I wouldn't be calling on pocket 3s because he doesn't have that much chips left. I would have pushed all in, but or muck it, actually.
Right. Either push it all in or muck it. And look at this flop. It's a big flop for Scott. Gives him an open end straight, a flush draw, and 2 overcards.
Which actually makes him a favorite in this.
Well, he was actually a small favorite before the flop. Nick pushes all in, and Scott easily calls.
Big draw.
And actually on a flop, Amir, Scott is a 72% favorite, even though Nick the Kid right now is in the lead with the 2 3s.
Yeah, let's see what mathematics does now.
You're a big favorite.
2 3s versus straight
Actually,
draw.
Miami John let Scott know he's a big favorite.
Good draw there.
Here comes the turn.
For Scott Epstein. The turn card is another 10.
Pairs the board. This is good for Nick the Kid. Nick the Kid right now
For Scott, he could win it with a jack.
is only a 43% dog now. He's hoping for a blank.
Deuce of diamonds.
Deuce of diamonds, exactly. That's what he needs. And look at this. It's a deuce of hearts, and Nick the Kid is going to double up, and Scott cannot believe it.
Even though he had the best hand.
You're in the middle of tournament competition on the Ultimate Poker Challenge. Here are some of the semifinalists to date.
It's a 5. Pete Lawson has won this tournament.
Great play, awesome day.
Great. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Great job. Once again, congratulations, James.
Steve, I'd like to present you with the entry chip to the semifinal tournament.
An 8. That's going to do it. Danny Crouch just won the tournament.
For more semifinalists and point leaders at our weekly competition, go to UltimatePokerChallenge.com. Hold tight. We'll be back to fill you in on more Ultimate Poker.
Welcome back to the Plaza Ultimate Poker Challenge. With me today, my co-host, Amir Vahedi. Amir, what would you say is the most defining moment in your poker career?
Well, I should say like 99.5% of the poker players. winning my first World Series bracelet.
Oh, that must have been exciting.
Oh, it was exciting, especially how I won it, because literally I went to pretty much very, very low chips at the 6 people to go, and I came back and won it right out. So that was really one of the greatest moments of my life, I would say, not just a poker career.
Good job, good job. Hey, well, let's get right back to the challenge.
If any of you would like more info on our show, go to ultimatepokerchallenge.com. Well, Scott took a bad beat last time, Amir. Let's see what happens. King, deuce of hearts for Brooklyn Dan. Dan's got some chips now, and he's going to lay it down. And Miami John, we haven't heard much from him.
Well, you see, it's not about we haven't heard from him. He's waiting for an opportunity to act. Look at this one. He's coming up on the button. He raises. He's going to start working sooner or later.
And Scott re-raises him with pocket fours. Well, Miami John, Amir was making a play with the 8-9 off suit, and the timing was a little off. He wanted to steal the blinds. He did not want to call her, but he got worse. He got re-raised.
Yeah, it's a chance that people in the blind, the players in the blind, wake up with the big hand. But the great thing about Miami John is, as good as player he is, he knows when to back off, and I don't think so. That's a way too much of a chips that you want to risk on 9-8 offsuit. I don't think so. He's going to call and he's going to back off. These are all just a little Hollywood that tell him, hey, okay, I'm letting go the big hand.
Here's an interesting question, Amir. If you knew in Miami John's spot that Scott only had pocket fours, would you call here?
No, not with that, not that amount of chips. Miami John is capable of making his chips much easier way. This is way too much chips risking. I'm pretty much close to race 50-50.
Right. And that's going to be it, and Scott's going to pick up this pot. Well, Amir, we see the ebbs and flows of no limit hold'em. I mean, you can lose a big pot with the king-queen suited and then come right back with the pocket fours.
Oh, well, that's the beauty of no limit. You can always build up, but you have to be expert at building up your chips when you're short. I mean, you want to win a tournament at last, not just...
And Tahoe is going all in the small blind with a king-9 offsuit. And putting it, and Nick the Kid got ace-jack of diamonds. And Nick the Kid is going to be a 2-to-1 favorite. And Tahoe, if he doesn't get lucky, he's going to get knocked out.
This is the 4th final table. Well, you got to have a little luck. You hope you have a little skill to go with it. Dan and Nick are my main competitors. Nick, for a young kid, he plays good. He has lots of patience. It's tough. There's no getting around it. He's got quite a few chips now. He could afford to take a loss in a short stack. You just get one shot, one bullet. It's better to have a machine gun than a BB gun. I got a few more chips this time. I have a shot at it. That's what counts.
That's one of those classic situations. Tahoe is desperate for some chips. He actually picked up a good hand, but unfortunately ran into the monster on the big
And
blind.
look at this. We got an ace for Nick the Kid on the flop. And Tahoe, he's going to need runner or he's going to be eliminated.
It's a 10 now.
That's a 10. Now this helps Tahoe. Tahoe now has a gut shot straight. And the river is
Wow.
8 of diamonds gives Nick the Kid the nut flush. It's what we call overkill. And Tahoe's going to be knocked out in 5th place.
Oh, I bet you Tahoe would come around again. He'd been there and he's going to be there here.
I got news for you, Amir. Tahoe's been here a few times already.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow, this guy is a hard-working guy.
Well, with 4 players left, the blinds are now going up to 800, 1,600 with a $300 ante. And Amir, you know, when the antes like this go up, this is when the good players can get aggressive when they know how to manipulate the table.
Well, that's a part. A player like Miami John's going to start working, and good experience comes to help you see.
Now, Scott's raising it up here. He's got a pocket pair of 7s. It's a pretty good hand. And the action's on Nick the Kid, who's got Queen Jack of Hearts. And Nick is certainly going to have to call here. He might think about coming over the top. He does. He comes over the top and re-raises.
That was a good Academy Award. I guess we'll find out.
And Scott, from the tone of his voice, sounds like he's going to call.
I'm pretty sure I'm calling you.
Wow.
Scott's trying to evaluate all the possibilities.
I sure don't want to be in Scott's place with 2 sevens in my hand. I'm not.
Well, actually, Amir, it's actually going to be 50-50. It's
Yeah,
really going to be a horse race here.
Yeah, but he doesn't know what he's going against.
Jack of hearts. He's up against 2 sevens for Scott.
Well, he knows it now.
Now he knows it. 50-50 pretty much.
50-50 right on the
Scott's in the
nose.
lead with the sevens, but he is just about even money. 2 over cards, Queen Jack of hearts.
And we're going to have to see who gets lucky here. And look at this, a set of sevens for Scott. Bingo. Nick the Kid's going to need a runner, Amir, otherwise he's going to lose a big...
Now it's very tough for him to come back.
And that's going to be it. And Scott's going to double up. And this is a big pot Nick the Kid lost. Jack on the river doesn't help. And Scott has just doubled up.
For Scott Epstein.
All right, everyone, time for a quick break. I'll have some card talk for you and a lot more No Limit Texas Hold'em right after this.
You're watching America's premier poker series, the Ultimate Poker Challenge. The action, the excitement of winning. No Limit Texas Hold'em is happening now.
Welcome back. Tonight's card talk word is rounder. Rounder is a professional who plays for high stakes. And now you know. Now back to Chad and Amir.
Welcome back. This is a segment where we do our Poker Pro Tip of the Week, and for all of you who have been watching us every week, I'm sure you're ready to enter the challenge, but if you're not, we got Amir Vahedi with us who's going to give you his Poker Pro Tip of the Week.
Well, I got a good one for you, I think. When you play poker, make sure your hands and making it would be your plan B. Your plan A is reading your opponent, study them well, and try to get the pot without even using your hand. And also, manage your bankroll wisely.
Well, those are wise words, Amir. Now, we have a question from our website. It's from Paul from Gulfport, Connecticut. He says, what happens if someone raises me more than my total chip count?
Well, Paul, number one thing you have to realize, once you face up with somebody who's bigger than yourself, the consequences for you are greater. That means you can get knocked out of the tournament if you do anything wrong. That means either make sure you have the goods or make sure you have an accurate reading on your opponent that you can either outplay him, and you have to be positive on that. If you have a doubt on it, stay out of it.
Hey, great job, Amir. Well, if you have a question for the pro, go to ultimatepokerchallenge.com and click on Ask the Pro. Now let's get right back to the challenge.
Well, with 4 players left, Scott is now the table chip leader, and if I was in that spot, I'd like to take an aggressive posture and start stealing some of these blinds and antes, Amir.
For sure, it's a good position to be in.
Of course, with an 8-3 offsuit, I'd be happy to lay it down under the gun. 9-10 for Nick the Kid, and Nick looks like he's going to try and take a little aggressive posture. He's counting his chips to see if he can afford to do this.
I don't know if he wants to do that with that hand, but...
and he makes a good decision to lay it down. We haven't heard much from Brooklyn Dan in a while. And look at this, he's pushing it all in, and he's got an ace, king of spades, a monster. And it's going to be on Miami John, and Miami John, he's got an ace-5 offsuit, and you know what?
John's asking for a count here.
Because he's got the ace in there, he might think Dan is just pushing it with any 2 big cards. And
well, yeah, besides, he hasn't seen that many good hands.
Just under 10,000.
Hey, Dan is on the small blind, and not necessarily have to have a big hand, so... It's interesting to see if he's going to call him.
Well, you know, he's got to be concerned. If Dan has any ace, he knows his ace is no good, and he'd want to lay it down. But if Dan had, like, Queen Jack, then he'd be a favorite over him.
Yeah, he also remembers Dan did put his money out there a couple of times with the king high, so it's not necessarily... He likes
It's a tough decision. These are the decisions at the final table, and he does call. He's not going to like it.
No, definitely
He's basically going to be a 3-to-1 underdog.
I thought you had king
suited for Brooklyn Dan.
He thought he had king high, see? He thought he had king high.
For Miami John.
And if Brooklyn Dan doesn't get unlucky, he's going to double up.
It's a flop.
Here's 3-4.
And look at this pair of kings for Brooklyn Dan, and
it's getting tougher and tougher on Miami John.
John's going to need a runner.
Brooklyn Dan, he's looking in good shape here. The turn card is a 7.
And that is going to do it.
Let's get it over with.
Brooklyn Dan's going to double up here.
And Brooklyn Dan makes a full house just for safety.
And he went from the short stack to near the chip lead himself.
Yeah, and just got Miami John's job to get a little harder.
Well, I'll tell you, Amir, those are the close decisions at the final table that are really crucial in winning or losing. Brooklyn Dan now almost has the same amount of chips as Scott. He's a little behind him. He's got a 10 deuce offsuit. He mucks. Miami mucks, and Scott, our chip leader at the table, he's got a jack, 9 offsuit, and he's probably going to raise this here. He's counting what Nick's chips are.
See, this is interesting. Look at him. He's like a wolf, and that kid, poor kid, is like a ship. Look at the way he look at him. With big chips, and that's the way it is in poker. You have to act like a wolf when you have chips. Yum, yum. That's how he's looking at it.
And, yep, Scott's going to raise it up.
Makes it 4,800.
And Nick, he has a queen 4 suited.
Not a bad hand to take a stand, but I wish he would have better. But queen 4 diamond.
Believe me, he wishes he had better too.
Yeah, but sooner or later he has to take a stand. He can't just sit down and blind up his chips.
Well,
there you go.
Nick calls, and actually Nick the Kid is going to be a small favorite here. He's going to be about a 58% favorite to Scott 42%.
Queen 4 diamonds for Nick the Kid, Jack 9
Nick
off,
trying to double up here.
That's amazing.
Flop.
That's not right either.
Let's see if the kid can double up.
29. 15. He's got 29.
These guys are just working out the exact amount of chips that are in. And here's the flop.
The flop is 2
Wow.
diamonds, ace, king.
Now this is a real good flop for Nick the Kid. On the flop, Nick the Kid becomes an 87% favorite to win this hand.
It's an awesome flop for him. I mean,
Turn card's a 9.
Oh,
and
look
Scott
at
Epstein
this.
has taken the lead.
Nick went from a big favorite to almost a 3-to-1 dog with 1 card to go. Nick going to need a diamond or a queen. It's an 8 of clubs, and that's going to be it for Nick the Kid. And Nick's going to be knocked out in 4th place, and our chip leader, Scott, is rolling over the table.
He's one of our points leaders.
Well, we're down to 3-handed, and Miami John's going to be the small blind. Scott's going to be the big blind, and Brooklyn Dan's on the button. And this is the one situation where the button is now first to act before the flop. And Brooklyn Dan has Queen Jack, and he's going to raise it up.
You see, Chad, this is my favorite part of the tournament. 3-handed, it's short, it's fast, you got to think fast, and there you go. You can use your experience to your advantage. So let's see who's got more experience here and who's got who's a faster thinker, basically.
Miami John lays it down, and Scott's going to call from the big blind. He has 10 Queen of Hearts, and this is pretty good for Brooklyn Dan.
Especially with that chips, it's a very callable hand.
Danny with the hammer. Flop is ace, 8, deuce, 2 diamonds. Scott Epstein's first act. Go check.
I got a pair of queens.
And Dan is going to bet it out. He's showing some good aggressive play. Scott basically should, you know, lay this right down.
That's a very good play. As soon as you see weakness, you have to take advantage of it.
And look at this. Scott lays it down. Great play by Brooklyn Dan, picking up some more chips.
And tells you don't need a hand to win a pot.
Well, as the action continues over here, we're going to be having Dan Pugliese on the button. Brooklyn Dan.
Action continues and blinds are getting higher and higher.
And look at this. He's got a 10 King of Diamonds. Well, he's definitely going to raise it up here, Amir. That's a pretty big hand when you're 3-handed and you have the button.
Oh, yes, definitely. You've got to do something with it.
And especially in this situation, the button is very valuable.
Oh, yes. Button is my very good friend.
Amir's very good friends with the button. Do you coach the button at all?
Oh, yes.
And Miami John?
Oh, Miami John. It's very interesting to know what he's going to do with this
Well, he's
hand.
got a King-Jack offsuit, and that's a monster against Dan's hand because...
Am I mistaken? Did he say all in?
He did say all in.
7.
Yeah, he did say all in. Wow.
Well, you know what? He can't just call him here. If he's going to call, he might as well go all in.
It's up to Brooklyn Danny.
So he's putting the pressure back on Dan now, who's on the button, and basically Dan is pot committed, Amir. He's got King 10. Miami's got him, you know, almost like almost 3-to-1 favorite over him.
That's one of the situations when you raise too much, you know, you get committed with the worst hand in your hand. So you can't back away and you got to call.
Right.
And there you go. Put yourself in a bad position.
Up against the King 10, but he is suited in diamonds.
So Dan is going to be almost a 3-to-1 dog. He's going to be looking to catch a 10.
And boy, does he need this chips. He needs to double up big time.
2 queens and a 9.
2 queens and a 9. This gives Brooklyn Dan a gut shot straight. He needs Miami John's jack.
Sorry, John. They don't take requests.
It's a deuce, and
the Miami's still in the lead.
It's a 5, and Miami John.
And it's a 5, and Miami John's going to win this pot. It's about a $35,000 pot.
And that's going to put him in a very good position to win a tournament.
Come right back for more poker action on the Plaza Ultimate Poker Challenge.
Welcome back. My co-host today is Amir Vahedi. Amir, how did you get started playing poker professionally?
Well, I'll tell you, Chad, how it happens. You know, I love to gamble, and I used to gamble a lot on the casinos.
Big passion of yours, right?
Yeah, big passion of me. I like the excitement. Anyhow, but I used to put my money in the games that I was underdog in the casinos game. You know how to win them, though.
Very hard.
Until a friend of mine gave me a good advice. He said, why don't you take a shot at the poker game, which you have some decision to make, and it's basically a game of skill. And I did that, and it turned out to be great. And the first tournament I ever played, I won it right out, and there you go.
The rest is history.
Yeah.
Well, let's get right back to the challenge and see who's going to win tonight.
Well, as the action continues over here, we're three-handed. It's a real battle going on. Miami John is going to be on the button and first to act.
Especially he just doubled up and he put him in a very good position with a chip.
And look at this. Miami John's got 9-8 of clubs on the button.
There you go.
See what he's going to do. He's flat calling here, Amir.
Surprising. Actually, I kind of like this one. Well, he raised it, but it could be like a helping hand to trying to gang up on the shorter guy. You see, this is the way it goes in the tournament. The two big chips have to gang up against the shorter guy. By him going out, they make more money.
Right. Action's going to be on Brooklyn Dan, and look at this. Brooklyn Dan has ace-10, and he's going to push all his chips in, no doubt.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think one ace was good enough for him to go in.
Miami lays it down, and Scott quickly calls, and this is going to be good for Dan.
Ace-9 for Scott. Danny's all in with ace-10.
Dan's about a 3-to-1 favorite over Scott's hand.
Ace-10.
You can see from Scott's expression over there, he realized it. Scott's going to need a 9.
Flop is
now look at this. This flop gives Brooklyn Dan a gut shot Broadway.
And it doesn't help Scott.
Scott's looking for a 9. Oh my God, look at this, 9.
Picked off another 9 on the turn. That's
Brooklyn Dan cannot believe it. But he's not out yet. He needs a queen or a 10.
It's a 7. That's not going to do it. Dan Pugliese.
And look at this. What hard luck. Brooklyn Dan. Dan played. You know what, Amir? I think Brooklyn Dan played his best final table yet.
All right. Yeah, chips were going back and forth a lot. That was a chip lead a couple of times, and a short stack a couple of times, and then he drew a 9. And those are all my chips.
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm enjoying it more. I feel like I'm getting a little better at it, getting to practice. Everybody should come down. It's great.
Okay, we are down to heads-up battle, and the blinds are going up to $1,200, $2,400 with a $400 ante.
And there's a time that they're going to have to fire at each other and be very smart and dodge when the bullet comes.
And Miami John's going to raise it up.
8,000.
10,000.
8,000.
8,000.
8,000. Let's not overdo it, Matt.
All in.
And look at this, Scott going all in, and Scott has a king 10.
10. All right, I'm committed. Go ahead.
And John's committed, and he's going to be about a 3-to-1 dog. Scott has
10 over here versus Queen 10.
Scott's a 3-to-1 favorite to double up.
Well, I guess Miami John explained that he was committed, but that was a good call on the Scott's side. You go all in with his chips, and that's the best good timing for taking a stand. Let's see what happened on the flop.
Here comes the flop. Scott could double up. Be just about even in chips here. The flop is ace-7-3.
This is good for Scott.
Very good. Keep it up.
2 cards left.
Miami John's going to be...
Miami John looking for a queen here, or running straight.
Here comes the turn.
Queen, let's go home.
Turn card is an ace. Now Miami John down to 3 outs. He needs one of the 3 remaining queens to win the tournament.
3.
Scott's calling for a queen.
3.
Last card.
And it's a deuce of diamonds, and Scott is going to double up, and Miami John is going to give him a...
I'll tell you, Chad, you're going to have an interesting matchup right now. Now the chips are pretty even. Let's see now who's going to get this one.
Tonight's winner will be one step closer to the Ultimate Poker Challenge grand prize, and will also receive a vacation to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. The all-suite Pueblo Bonito Sunset Beach in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, with a premier location on the beach. You'll find it all at the state-of-the-art resort. Pueblo Bonito Sunset Beach Hotel and Resort. We'll be right back on the Ultimate Poker Challenge. We're here in Las Vegas, where America's #1 televised poker competition is taking place. Welcome to the Ultimate Poker Challenge.
Just had to do it with smoke and mirrors.
It's the hottest game place anywhere.
Chips are going back and forth a lot.
And everyone is doing it.
Well, it's a pretty big favorite after the flop.
The excitement, the players, the money. The action is intense on the Ultimate Poker Challenge. Welcome to the Ultimate Poker Challenge.
I just had to do it with smoke and mirrors.
Flop 3/8, I knew I was dead.
The action is intense on the Ultimate Poker Challenge.
When he flopped 3/8, I knew I was dead.
The action is intense on the Ultimate Poker Challenge. Welcome back. Here's how the tournament works. 23 weeks of competition. If you win, you get 100 points and an automatic entry to the semifinals to join the other high point players. The final 7 go head-to-head to share in the big cash payoff. And that's the Ultimate Poker Challenge.
Since about 1988, I've been on the tournament circuit full-time.
I've been playing poker for a long time now.
Which is probably more than anyone.
Miami John would be tough to deal with.
This particular table,
some players might be a little yappity.
I'll probably have all their chips in about 2-3 hours.
But one bad beat on them usually quiets them pretty good.
The young guns are pretty talented.
They can be very aggressive.
And they're very, very aggressive.
I'll pick my spots.
Just feed them a lot of rope.
If I don't beat myself, I think I will win.
And let their aggression be their worst enemy.
They all will say,
I want to win.
I think I'm going to win.
I'm in there for the kill.
I'm going to try to be careful.
I hate losing.
And it really comes down to,
I'm going for it.
I will win.
Well, Miami John is going to be first to act. He squeezes down and he looks at a Jack-5 of diamonds and he's just going to call.
Miami John calls 24.
I would have liked to put in a little raise here myself, Amir.
You know, Miami thinks he's a much better flop player, and he wants to give himself a chance, not giving too much chips at the beginning.
2 diamonds, check.
How about this flop for Miami, huh? And look at this.
Now.
Pair of 5s with a flush draw for Miami, and Scott makes a pair of 5s with a lower kicker, and John's going to bet it, no doubt.
And that might put Scott in a little trouble because of the pair of 5 that he catch. He may actually think he may have a best hand and trying to make a move.
Well, Scott's been playing really aggressive all day.
Scott says he's going to raise it.
And he is going to raise it.
Oh, my God.
And John can't get away from this hand.
It's a very dangerous board. I mean, for Scott, it's 2 overcard on the flop. Hey.
He makes it 6,000 more.
Miami John just might call or raise. He could do either or. He might just want a flat call here, Amir, and trap Scott into betting the river.
Yeah, that would be a safe one. If he thinks his 5 is good, he doesn't have to give too much action. It would be okay, and let the Scott bluff at you.
Right.
And it's very interesting. They see sometimes the good players set the other players to bluff at them.
And Miami John does just call, 1 card to come. And it's a 6 of hearts, and Miami John is going to win this pot unless Scott can bluff him off it. But no, he's going to check, and John's going to check.
Scott shows a 5.
And John's going to show a 5 with a jack kicker.
And he'll win the pot.
And Miami John has just won a $17,000 pot.
At this point.
Well, as the action continues, Miami John is the chip leader, and the action's going to be on Scott.
You see, Chad, now all those patience are paying off. We thought he's quiet, but he was waiting for the right opportunity.
Oh, and look at this, Amir. Scott's going all in with a king-queen offsuit. And Miami John has got an ace-queen. Of course he's going to call.
I think it's an easy call.
Scott has king-queen. He's up against ace-queen for Miami John.
There you go.
John, ace-queen.
He knows he got him.
Against Scott's king-queen.
Miami John is a 3-1 favorite.
Miami John looking good. He's got him covered here.
Scott's going to be needing a king to overtake Miami's hand.
Flop is an 8.
Oh.
Oh, look at this.
Boy, that was a teaser. First I saw that king, I said, Jesus. There you go. The ace
Still
comes with it.
We have 2 cards left to come.
Scott's going to need a king.
Turn card is an 8. 1 card left to come.
And if a
Miami
king
John could be
doesn't
the
come,
champion. If it
Miami
doesn't come, a
John
king.
is the champ.
Very tough to hope for a 2-outer.
And it's a 6.
Wow.
6 of hearts, and Miami John is the Ultimate Poker Challenge champion today. He's on his way to the semifinals.
And what a well-deserved victory for Miami John. Good job, Miami.
Okay, boys, get ready to cash in those chips. Chad and Amir will be back to congratulate tonight's winner right after this.
You're watching America's premier poker series, the Ultimate Poker Challenge. The action, the excitement, it's happening now. The Ultimate Poker Challenge.
Congratulations, Miami John. You are in the semifinals.
Great film, Chad. Thanks a lot, buddy.
And by the way, you want a trip to Cabo San Lucas. How about that? Huh? You're going to take me with you, right?
That's wonderful.
All right.
You make a wonderful date, I'm sure.
All right, good.
And listen, while you're in Cabo St. Lucas, I know you don't want to miss one Ultimate Poker Challenge show. So right now, I'd like to introduce Ben McGee, who's going to give you a DVD player so you can record. Let's hear it for Ben McGee.
Congratulations, Miami John.
Thanks a lot, Ben.
First off, on behalf of the Plaza, I'd like to present you with your ticket to the semifinals of the Ultimate Poker Challenge. And we'd like to give you this DVD recorder so you can watch every episode of the program.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thanks a lot, Ben.
Thank you. Congratulations again.
Great.
John, why don't you tell everybody how you felt when you won with that ace-queen today?
Well, my opponent had king-queen, I had ace-queen, and it's always a scary situation.
Sure.
You know, they just have one card to hit. And I saw that beautiful ace on the board. I just almost came out of my chair. It was a great feeling.
And you have your family here that was giving you some support, right?
I think that's what got the card on the table. My lovely daughter Jade and cousin Sal, they all cheered me on. They haven't left for a minute.
Well, you know, I think everyone's worked up a big appetite, and our chef here at the Plaza Hotel has come up with what we call the biggest hamburger in Las Vegas history. John, why don't you bring it right out here? This is the biggest hamburger with the Ultimate Poker Challenge written all over on it.
Good job.
And if you got any problem with your cholesterol being low, we got a lot of French fries to go with it too, okay? So,
Put it in there to go.
Like that to go?
hey, I want to thank, of course, Matt Savage, our tournament director here at the Ultimate Poker Challenge, doing a great job as usual. Amir Vahedi, thanks for joining me today.
You're most welcome.
Ben McGee, thanks again. My name's Chad Brown. We will see you next week on the Plaza Ultimate Poker Challenge.
It's only 6 short weeks before we get to the semifinals on the Ultimate Poker Challenge. And remember, when you win, you're in. I'm Brandy Williams, and I'll see you next week. Good night.